The 13 most mysterious ancient tombs ever discovered that terrified archaeologists. Do you believe that there are time-sealed doors that have remained locked for thousands of years, waiting for a single touch to unleash chilling secrets from the past? Throughout the journey to uncover the traces of ancient civilizations, archaeologists have repeatedly encountered discoveries that far exceed the limits of human imagination. Tombs once thought to be mere resting places of the past have revealed strange phenomena, terrifying curses, and mysteries that modern science still cannot explain. From the scorching deserts of Egypt to the mist-shrouded jungles of South America, from the deep, dark catacombs of the Middle East to the moss-covered temples hidden in Southeast Asia, each location tells a dark tale, a nightmare for those who dared to unlock the past. In today's video, we'll explore 13 of the most mysterious ancient tombs in human history, burial sites that not only house the remains of legendary kings, priests, or warriors, but also imprison secrets so dark that even the most seasoned scientists shudder in fear and hesitation. Are you ready to embark on this thrilling journey? Hold on to your courage, because what lies behind that stone gate may not be just history. Now let's begin our adventure. The 200-year-old tomb of a woman that shocked future generations. In human history, there are heartbreaking stories that not only send chills down our spines, but also leave our hearts aching at the cruel twists of fate. One such tearful mystery comes from an ancient tomb discovered in Heilongjiang, China, where archaeologists recently unearthed a coffin that tells a haunting tale. A woman, mistakenly believed to be dead during a critical stage of childbirth, was buried alive and lay in darkness for over 200 years. When the coffin was finally opened, the heartbreaking scene inside left even the most stoic witnesses overwhelmed with emotion. First, it's important to understand that during that time period, while war and disease claimed countless lives, the greatest danger facing women was often childbirth itself. Giving birth in history has never been a simple matter, especially in remote rural areas and in ancient societies where medical knowledge was extremely limited. It was once widely believed that having many children was a blessing and a source of hope for old age. However, this belief came with tremendous risks, especially when women were expected to give birth repeatedly in hopes of having a son, who was traditionally valued more than daughters in many cultures. It was under such tragic circumstances that this woman faced agonizing pain in the final months of her pregnancy. Falling unconscious during a medical emergency, her family mistakenly assumed she had died. In their rush to bury her, they laid her to rest in a coffin, unaware that she was still alive. When archaeologists excavated the grave, they found that although the area had been looted and most burial items were missing, the coffin remained sealed and intact. Inside, they discovered a body in a tightly curled position. Unlike any remains ever uncovered before, the site suggested someone who had been buried alive, trapped in the cold darkness, struggling until their final breath. Thanks to modern equipment and scientific technology, researchers were able to reconstruct the tragic story of this woman. In the final stage of pregnancy, she experienced a complicated labor that left her temporarily unconscious. Her loved ones, unaware of her condition, mistakenly buried her alive. When she regained consciousness, she was already sealed inside her coffin, unable to escape. In those final moments, she fought in vain, alone, terrified, and in excruciating pain. This story is not just a chilling reminder of past ignorance and mistakes. It also serves as a powerful lesson about the sanctity of life and the fundamental right of every person to be protected, especially in their most vulnerable moments. Over time, with the advancement of medicine and science, we have been able to shed light on long-buried mysteries and, in doing so, prevent the repetition of such tragedies. The story of the woman in the ancient coffin is not only a reminder of the fragility of life, but also a symbol of humanity, compassion, and reverence for those who once suffered in the shadows of history. From these sorrowful stories, humanity draws invaluable lessons about life, death, and how we ought to treat one another, with empathy, dignity, and deep respect. The 5,500-year-old stone tomb in Poland. During an excavation near the village of Debiany in the Świętokrzyski province, a peaceful area nestled in the heart of central Poland, archaeologists stumbled upon one of the most mysterious and expansive prehistoric architectural complexes ever discovered in the country. It all began when the team noticed an unusually shaped quadrilateral terrain surrounded by a shallow ditch, an uncommon but intriguing feature. As if driven by an instinct rooted in the past, the research team quickly conducted a geophysical survey to investigate further. What they uncovered was nothing short of astonishing, opening a window into the distant past of prehistoric European civilization. Hidden beneath layers of earth, a massive megalithic structure gradually revealed itself, a magnificent testament to the construction skills and social organization of people who lived around 500 years ago. What especially caught the researchers' attention was the presence of dozens of ancient graves, each lined with wooden posts, a burial technique entirely different from the stone-lined graves commonly found at other megalithic sites across Poland. This distinct method raised numerous compelling questions about burial customs, architectural thinking, and spiritual beliefs among Neolithic communities. According to archaeologist Marcin M. Przybyła, a leading member of the discovery team, this site could be one of the largest megalithic cemeteries ever recorded in Poland. He described the complex as having a unique layout, with long walls reinforced by sturdy wooden fencing, seemingly designed to protect the sacred space within. More notably, on the eastern side stood shorter walls and a clear entrance leading into an area resembling a chapel, possibly used for conducting ancient funeral rites. These archaeological traces have led experts to believe the site was once a burial ground for the funnel beaker culture, an ancient agricultural society prominent in Central Europe during the Neolithic period. Unfortunately, most of the human remains and grave goods had already been removed, likely due to grave robbing or poorly documented earlier excavations. However, the significance of this discovery remains undiminished. In fact, it is further underscored by the additional finding just outside the cemetery, a square-shaped defensive structure believed to be a temporary military encampment dating back to the 9th or 10th century BCE. This fortified structure included wooden walls, defensive ditches, and evidence of military activity, hinting at a turbulent era in Poland's early history. According to Przybyła, this is a unique discovery, not only because of its age, but also due to the cultural layering it represents, from sacred burial practices to martial activity. These findings offer an unprecedented opportunity for researchers to better understand the construction techniques, social organization, and spiritual values of prehistoric and early Iron Age Central European populations. The complex at Dębiany stands as a haunting reminder that beneath every quiet layer of earth may lie an untold epic waiting to be discovered. Lavish Viking tombs reveal secrets of power under King Bluetooth's reign. Amid the peaceful Danish countryside, a groundbreaking archaeological discovery is astonishing the world. Archaeologists have successfully excavated 30 ancient Viking tombs in Lisbjerg, near the city of Aarhus, reviving pages of history long buried for over a millennium and reigniting questions about a vibrant yet mysterious era in Northern Europe's past. According to archaeologists from the Mosgard Museum, the graves likely belong to a noble lineage that once served under the reign of Harald Bluetooth, the legendary 10th century king who unified Denmark and Norway. The opulence and variety of grave goods found, ranging from coins and pearls to finely crafted ceramics, make it clear that these were not the resting places of commoners. On the contrary, they whisper tales from the past about a life of power and wealth, belonging to an elite class that played pivotal roles in the political, economic, and spiritual structure of Viking society. What has especially astonished researchers is how dramatically this discovery differs from typical Viking burials, which are rare to begin with, and even when found, usually contain very few grave goods. The sheer number of valuable artifacts uncovered here is extraordinary. According to archaeologist Liv Stidsing Reher Langberg, who led the excavation, the discovery points to a clearly stratified social system that existed more than 1,000 years ago. The location of Lisbjerg, near an ancient Viking farmstead believed to have been the residence of a regional chieftain, further supports the theory that this burial ground belonged to a noble family closely allied with King Bluetooth. One of the most striking graves is that of a woman buried with personal belongings such as jewelry, sewing needles, and scissors, items that hold not just material value, but also tell a deeper story about the role of women in Viking society, a role often overshadowed by male warrior narratives. Each artifact unearthed here is like a puzzle piece contributing to a larger historical picture, shedding light on Viking social organization, religious practices, and expressions of power through burial rituals. Experts believe this burial site could be a major breakthrough in understanding the true lives of the Viking elite, individuals who served as both the extended arm of royal authority and as powerful figures in their own local domains. In this context, King Harald Bluetooth stands not only as the historical figure who inspired the name of modern wireless technology, but also as a symbol of unity, reform, and centralized power during one of Europe's most transformative eras. These long silent tombs, resting beneath the earth for centuries, have now become vivid witnesses of the past, helping today's world better understand a time of awe-inspiring mystery and power. Quite extraordinary, isn't it? A 1,000-year-old Viking ship, burial of a woman on Senja Island. In 2023, on a field near the village of Sand on Senja Island, Norway, archaeologists made a remarkable and rare discovery: a Viking ship burial that had retained much of its original structure. But what truly makes this finding exceptional is not just the fact that it is over 1,000 years old, but the mysterious identity of the individual laid to rest within the wooden vessel, believed to be a woman, possibly a female leader or a member of the Viking nobility. The ship, measuring approximately 17.7 feet in length, was carefully crafted from wooden planks fastened with iron nails, wooden pegs, and even plant fibers and animal sinew, a testament to the sophisticated craftsmanship of the Vikings. Inside the ship burial, archaeologists found the remains positioned with the head pointing north, an arrangement thought to have ceremonial significance or symbolic religious meaning. One detail that especially stood out was the presence of a dog, placed at the feet of the deceased. According to archaeologist Anja Roth-Niemi from UiT, the Arctic University of Norway, dogs are frequently found in Viking graves, representing the close bond between humans and animals during that time. Unlike horses, which were often sacrificed and found dismembered, dogs in ship burials were usually laid to rest whole, as faithful companions accompanying their owners to the afterlife. Although the exact gender of the skeletal remains has yet to be definitively confirmed, the grave goods strongly suggest the individual was a woman. Among them were two intricately carved oval brooches adorned with silver wire, a type of jewelry never found in male graves. The design and craftsmanship of these brooches date back to the height of Viking civilization, around 900 to 950 CE. The burial site also contained a treasure trove of artifacts, including an iron sickle, two disc-shaped beads possibly made of amber, and a particularly intriguing object, either a sword or a weaving batten made from whalebone. These artifacts not only point to a high standard of living, but also hint at the significant role the buried woman played in Viking society, possibly someone of spiritual, economic, or political importance. She may have been a powerful woman who fulfilled ceremonial duties, managed resources, or even served as a vulva, a female seer or spiritual leader in Norse culture. With its well-preserved construction and rich collection of grave goods, this ship burial adds a vital piece to the historical puzzle of Viking society, one that was shaped not only by warriors, but also by influential figures who defy traditional expectations. If I told you that resting inside this ancient boat is not just a skeleton, but an unfinished story slowly being uncovered through the dust of time, it wouldn't be an exaggeration at all. 3 ancient Egyptian tombs reveal the mysterious world of New Kingdom elites. Can you believe that when the layers of time were swept away at the ancient cemetery of Dra Abu el Naga near modern-day Luxor, Egypt, archaeologists uncovered a hidden world from the past? What they found were 3 tombs dating back over 3,000 years, belonging to high-ranking individuals in Egyptian society during the New Kingdom period. These were not the tombs of powerful pharaohs, but rather of elite officials, the very people who kept the ancient Egyptian religious and economic systems running smoothly. The 3 men buried at the site held key roles in temple administration and grain storage, vital pillars of prosperity in the civilization that thrived along the legendary Nile River. Among the 3 tombs, the most prominent is that of Amun-em-epet, an official who served at the estate or temple dedicated to Amun, the supreme deity associated with ancient Thebes. He lived during Egypt's 19th dynasty, approximately 1295 to 1186 BCE, the golden age of Egyptian power that extended from Syria to Sudan. The tomb's painted walls vividly depict scenes of banquets, funerary offerings, and the burial ceremony. Images that not only reflect the deceased's wealth, but also highlight the central role of funerary rituals in ancient Egyptian belief. The other two tombs are older, dating to the early 18th dynasty, from 1550 to 1295 BCE, and offer additional insight into the elite class. One belonged to Baki, who held the strategic role of overseeing grain silos, a critical position in Egypt's agrarian economy, where grain was both the staple food and a central unit of exchange. The third tomb belonged to a man named S, who held multiple titles connected to record-keeping and temple administration under the cult of Amun. His burial illustrates the strong connection between religion and bureaucratic power during the New Kingdom era. One particularly intriguing feature noted by archaeologists is that all three tombs include a small inner courtyard, a common architectural element in non-royal tombs of the Theban necropolis during the New Kingdom. Catherine Slinger, a lecturer in Egyptian archaeology at the University of Manchester, explains that these courtyards were not just open spaces, but ritually significant areas often used for funerals and commemorative festivals. In some cases, these courtyards may have been shared among adjacent tombs, forming communal sacred spaces for the surrounding living communities. The discovery at Dra Abu el Naga does more than shed light on the lives and roles of the elite in ancient Egyptian society. It offers a vivid perspective on the spiritual, economic, and social dimensions of life over 3 millennia ago. These individuals, though not royal, were given carefully constructed burials along the Nile, proving that within the grandeur of ancient Egyptian civilization, power and reverence were not reserved for pharaohs alone. Through every painted scene and every funerary object, the secrets of their lives are gradually being uncovered, telling a rich, dynamic story of one of humanity's most dazzling civilizations. 1,500-year-old Byzantine tomb complex, discovered beneath the ground in Syria. What initially seemed like just another routine task in a reconstruction project in Syria turned into a stunning archaeological revelation. A 1,500-year-old Byzantine tomb complex emerged from beneath the ruins of a house destroyed in the conflict. The site is located in the town of Marat al-Numan, in Idlib province, considered a strategic crossroads between Syria's two largest cities, Aleppo and Damascus. It was on this war-scarred land that the removal of old gray concrete revealed ancient stone crevices, marking the beginning of a promising archaeological journey that transports us back to the Byzantine era, one of the most glorious civilizations to follow the fall of the Roman Empire. As soon as signs of ancient structures appeared, local residents promptly reported the discovery to the Directorate of Antiquities in the province. A team of experts was quickly dispatched to the site to protect and begin initial excavation efforts. On the grounds of what was once a heavily bombed residential neighborhood, next to a crumbling home, a deep pit unexpectedly opened up. It led to 2 stone burial chambers, each containing 6 meticulously carved tombs. Among the most striking features was a stone column engraved with the image of a cross, a religious symbol indicating a direct connection to Christianity, which once flourished in the region during the Byzantine period. According to Hassan al-Ismail, director of the Directorate of Antiquities in Idlib, based on the cross symbol as well as pottery shards and fragments of glass found at the site, experts have determined that the tomb complex dates back to the Byzantine Empire, a civilization that arose in the 4th century AD following the collapse of the Roman Empire and established its capital in Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. The discovery of this tomb complex not only serves as vivid evidence of the Byzantine Empire's far-reaching influence in Syrian territory, but also adds a precious piece to the already rich archaeological heritage of Idlib province. Indeed, despite being a relatively small region, Idlib is home to over 800 archaeological sites, accounting for roughly 1/3 of all known historical landmarks across Syria. Ironically, this land so rich in cultural heritage has become the epicenter of a prolonged conflict that has lasted for more than a decade. The so-called dead cities, abandoned Byzantine-era settlements, still lie quietly scattered across the hills and plains of northwestern Syria. Their limestone ruins, including ancient homes, basilica-style churches, and roads lined with towering stone columns, stand as timeless witnesses to a bygone era. Notably, not all locals have been willing to report archaeological finds on their property. Ghiath Sheikh Diab, a local resident and eyewitness to this historic discovery, revealed that in the past, Many landowners deliberately concealed such finds out of fear they would be confiscated. He expressed hope that with new policies in place, the government will provide fair compensation and support, protecting the heritage without disadvantaging the local people. Sharing a similar sentiment, Abed Jafar, another resident of Ma'arat al-Numan, recalled how international tourists used to flock to the area just to admire its ancient ruins. Now, as the violence gradually subsides, he believes that if these valuable remnants can be restored and preserved, both the tourism industry and the lives of local communities can be revived from these silent stones. 2,800-year-old royal tomb unveils clues about King Midas. During an excavation in the ancient city of Gordion, located southwest of Ankara, Turkey, archaeologists uncovered a royal tomb dating back to the 8th century BC. Experts believe the approximately 2,800-year-old tomb belonged to a relative of King Midas, the great ruler of the ancient Phrygian kingdom. Inside the royal tomb, dozens of rare artifacts were found buried alongside cremated human remains. Mehmet Nuri Ersoy, Turkey's Minister of Culture and Tourism, said at a press conference, "Based on the artifacts discovered, we estimate that the tomb's occupant was likely a member of the royal family connected to Gordion and King Midas." Gordion served as the capital of the Phrygian kingdom, which existed from 1200 BC to 675 BC. In the 8th century BC, the kingdom was ruled by Gordius. After Gordius's death, his son Midas ascended to the throne. King Midas is famously known for the myth in which everything he touched turned to gold. Like many ancient cities, Gordion was occupied multiple times throughout its history. As a result, excavations there have revealed ancient city walls, tombs, and houses dating back thousands of years. The newly discovered tomb is the 47th burial mound excavated at Gordion. The tomb mound stands approximately 26 feet tall and measures nearly 197 feet in diameter. Archaeologist Yücel Şenyurt, co-director of the Gordion excavation, explained that cremation was the burial custom of the Phrygians. Therefore, being buried in Gordion indicated that the individual was of high social status, not an ordinary person. Researchers speculate that the occupant of this newly found tomb could be a relative of King Midas, since his tomb was also discovered nearby. However, this is still an initial hypothesis, and experts will need more time to decode the exact truth behind the discovery. 350-year-old tomb of the warrior prince. One morning in 2021, in the peaceful land near the town of Matzes, Bavaria, Germany, an archaeological excavation revealed an emotionally moving discovery with immense historical value. Buried underground, archaeologists found an ancient stone tomb, the resting place of a child only about 18 months old, nicknamed the Ice Prince. This nickname was not random, but derived from the unique excavation method. Experts used rapid freezing techniques to freeze the entire burial chamber, preserving every detail with remarkable accuracy and completeness. This discovery was not just a meeting with the past, but a window back more than 1,350 years, to around 670 to 680 AD, when Bavaria bordered the powerful Roman Empire. As layers of earth and stone were removed, scientists uncovered a nearly perfectly preserved burial space, with stone ceilings and walls sealed to prevent sediment and time from penetrating. The child's remains were carefully laid on a fur blanket, the first sign that this was no ordinary grave. He wore a finely made long-sleeve linen shirt, decorated with silk ribbons, a highly precious material at the time, imported only from the distant Byzantine Empire. These silk ribbons were not merely decoration, but a statement of status. The boy clearly belonged to a family of high social standing. Perhaps what stunned archaeologists and the world most were the items buried alongside the boy. A small sword, a gold cross, silver bracelets, and especially silver spurs attached to his shoes. All extremely valuable treasures, not only materially, but symbolically. They were not just displays of wealth, but ways the family expressed their grief and respect for their young child. The child died at the tender age of just learning to walk. Researchers estimate between 8 and 18 months old, and likely had taken his first steps before illness tragically ended his fragile life. Strontium isotope analysis on his tooth enamel confirmed that the boy was born in the same region where he was buried, and his diet was primarily breast milk. DNA results further revealed that he had blue eyes and light-colored hair, a look likely typical for the local population of the time. However, the Ice Prince did not die from war or violence, as many might imagine in turbulent ancient times, but from something far simpler and more tragic: a prolonged middle ear infection leading to chronic illness, a common but deadly condition in an era before antibiotics. All archaeological evidence, from burial customs and artifacts to biological analysis, indicates that the boy's death was a devastating shock to his family, who went to great lengths to give him a funeral ceremony and status befitting his position. In a world full of upheaval in the 7th century, when political, cultural, and religious boundaries were constantly clashing and reshaping, the discovery of the Ice Prince is not only an archaeological find, but also a poignant reminder of timeless humanity. Even over 1,300 years ago, the death of a child could deeply move the modern heart, because love, loss, and the desire to preserve memory have always flowed through the current of human history. 4,000-year-old ancient tomb reveals a world-shaking secret. On what seemed like an ordinary morning in the coastal town of Senja, where the waves of the North Sea gently caressed Norway's southwestern shore, an archaeological excavation unexpectedly opened a door to the past, taking scientists back nearly 4,000 years. When construction workers began digging foundations for a new hotel, they suddenly uncovered a stone tomb that had quietly rested through millennia. Archaeologists were immediately called to the site, where they discovered one of the best-preserved Neolithic tombs ever found in the region. The tomb's unique structure was fully lined with stone, measuring about 10 feet long, 5 feet wide, and nearly 3 feet high. Inside, it was divided into 2 chambers, suggesting a well-organized and purposeful eternal resting place. Preliminary analysis revealed the remains of at least 5 individuals, including an elderly man with arthritis, a young woman, and 2 small children. Remarkably, 2 sets of remains had been moved to the side, seemingly to make room for later burials, an indication that the tomb was reused multiple times and may have held special family or ritual significance. Radiocarbon dating placed the tomb's construction between approximately 2140 and 2000 BC, a period when the area was transitioning from a hunter-gatherer society to early agriculture. This was further confirmed when the research team uncovered nearby prehistoric house remnants, animal bones, small shells, and notably a stone tool shaped like a sickle, a likely implement used for harvesting grain. This discovery vividly illustrates the arrival of the first farmers in Senja, people who settled, cultivated, and lived here nearly 4 millennia ago. The sickle-shaped tool not only indicates early technological development, but also reveals a major shift in lifestyle, from nomadic to settled life. They no longer relied solely on hunting and gathering, but had begun farming, raising livestock, and importantly, forming close-knit communities with their own social structures and beliefs, clearly reflected in how they cared for their dead. The ancient tomb was not just a final resting place, but a living testament to their belief in the afterlife, respect for ancestors, and family bonds that transcended death. Currently, experts are conducting DNA analyses on at least 5 sets of excavated remains, hoping to uncover more mysteries about their identities, family relations, health, and diets. 5,000-year-old ancient tomb reveals shocking identity of its owner. Beneath layers of dust and the silent earth of the ancient town of Aspero, a part of the once glorious Caral civilization in Peru, archaeologists accidentally uncovered a roughly 5,000-year-old tomb containing the remains of a mysterious woman believed to have held high status in her society. What makes this tomb extraordinary is not only its ancient age, but also the miraculous preservation of the body and the rich, exquisite burial goods, details that have left experts both astonished and excited. While most skeletons found in this area are usually reduced to bare bones, the woman's body was astonishingly well preserved. Her skin, hair, and even fingernails remained intact after millennia, a rarity in prehistoric archaeology. She was wrapped in multiple layers of materials, including cotton fabric, plant fiber bundles, mats, and nets, indicating a complex and solemn burial ritual, and this is the first sign that she was no ordinary individual. Based on the condition of the remains and the artifacts in the tomb, experts estimate she lived between 3000 and 1800 BC and died between the ages of 20 and 35. Most importantly, the items buried with her, precious relics revealing glimpses of her life and status, stood out. Among them was an embroidered textile decorated with feathers from a long-tailed parrot, a bird native only to the remote Amazon rainforests, suggesting long-distance trade or broad cultural influence. Additionally, the tomb contained a toucan beak inlaid with green and brown beads, an Amazonian snail shell, about 30 sweet potatoes, and a fishing net, all symbolically and practically significant, reflecting the deceased's lifestyle, beliefs, and wealth. The presence of items from distant regions, combined with the meticulous burial preparations, convinced researchers that this woman belonged to the elite class, possibly a leader or an important figure within her community. Although her exact identity or title remains unknown due to the Caral civilization's lack of a written language system, the craftsmanship and value of the burial goods speak volumes. She was a powerful woman with wide-reaching influence in ancient society. Aspero, the town where the tomb was found, was a vital part of the Caral civilization, one of the oldest in the Americas. Archaeologists have uncovered at least 22 large and small architectural sites here, demonstrating advanced urban planning. The people primarily lived by fishing, exploiting marine resources, and trading goods, a fact supported by the fishing net and food items found in the tomb. This discovery strengthens the hypothesis that this woman played a key role in her community, perhaps managing trade or overseeing spiritual rituals, which were crucial in early societies. In summary, this finding not only deepens researchers' understanding of women's roles in the ancient Caral civilization, an advanced culture contemporary with other great early civilizations, but also opens a new window into a glorious past buried for thousands of years. In the darkness of millennia, the remains of the Aspero woman quietly whisper untold stories of power, dignity, and life in a world we are only beginning to comprehend. Treasures in an ancient Chinese tomb. In 2014, construction workers accidentally discovered numerous ancient tombs while digging foundations for a middle school in Jingzhou, Hubei Province, China. They quickly reported the find to the school administration. Soon after, local heritage authorities and experts arrived at the site to inspect and survey the area. Upon examination, specialists identified about 400 tombs dating from various historical periods, including the Warring States, Tang, and Song dynasties. Among them, a nearly intact tomb from the Chu state during the Warring States period drew significant public attention. This ancient tomb was built in the shape of the Chinese character Jia. According to researchers, tombs constructed in the Jia shape usually have a rectangular layout with only one entrance arranged to resemble this character, hence the name. After entering the tomb, experts found the interior extremely dark. They hired an electrician named Xiao Tian to install lighting inside to facilitate the excavation process. Xiao Tian eagerly began his work. While installing the lights inside the tomb, he noticed a black object lying on the coffin lid of the tomb's owner. When no one was watching, Xiao Tian secretly slipped the object into his jacket pocket and took it home. Upon inspecting the item with his wife, Xiao Tian realized it was a dried fish. Feeling disappointed that he had brought home something seemingly worthless, he tossed the dried fish aside. The next day, Xiao Tian returned to the excavation site, where he overheard the experts discussing the items they had found in the tomb. From their conversation, he learned that the archaeological team had discovered more than a dozen dried fish, but none were intact. Hearing this, Xiao Tian confessed that he had taken one perfectly preserved dried fish home. The experts quickly went to his house to retrieve the most complete dried fish excavated, recognizing it as an extremely valuable treasure. According to specialists, the dried fish date back approximately 2,400 years. They are known as Yangkan carp. The fish were salted and dried for preservation. Only the wealthy and powerful were buried with such items after death. Besides the dried fish, archaeologists also found various other artifacts such as bows, swords, and armor, which led them to speculate that the tomb belonged to a general from the Chu state. Of course, this is still only a hypothesis. The precise identity remains unknown. Archaeologists continue to remain silent on the matter for now. 28,000-year-old tomb reveals the identity of a hybrid human. An astonishing archaeological discovery has just been confirmed, as a research team successfully determined the precise age of the famous Lepedo child tomb in Portugal, a rare testament to the interbreeding between two ancient human species. Analysis shows the tomb dates back approximately 28,000 years. What makes it even more remarkable is that one of the two human species the child inherited DNA from is believed to have gone extinct around 40,000 years ago. This discovery not only extends the timeline, but also opens a mysterious chapter about the hybridization process among different human species in our evolutionary history. The Lepedo child tomb was first excavated in 1998 and immediately captured global scientific interest. The skeleton belonged to a child exhibiting a clear mix of traits from modern Homo sapiens and the extinct Neanderthals. The prominent chin typical of modern humans, combined with the short, robust legs characteristic of Neanderthals, along with many other features, amazed researchers. Subsequent DNA analyses confirmed that this child was the result of interspecies mating, a common phenomenon throughout evolutionary history, when our ancestors and other ancient humans interacted and interbred, contributing to the genetic diversity found in today's human populations. However, precisely dating ancient remains has always been a major challenge for archaeologists due to contamination and material degradation over time. Previously, 4 attempts using traditional radiocarbon dating were made to narrow down the burial date, but the results were inconclusive. Recently, by applying an advanced method called compound-specific radiocarbon analysis (CSRA), scientists succeeded in determining a more accurate age. The tomb turned out to be thousands of years older than initially thought, providing invaluable insights into the evolution and interaction of ancient human species. Beyond dating, the way the tomb was constructed also reveals fascinating cultural details about our ancestors' burial rituals. The tomb was carefully prepared, featuring a young rabbit placed on the skeleton as a sacrificial offering, red deer bones near the shoulders, and charcoal positioned under the child's feet, forming a complex ritual with deep spiritual significance. Even more intriguing, the burial site was abandoned for nearly 2 millennia afterward, possibly because the child's death caused the area to become taboo or unsuitable for regular hunting activities. Researcher João Zilhão from the University of Barcelona suggested that this event may have created a profound cultural taboo within the ancient community, prompting them to avoid the site for an extended period until memories of the incident gradually faded over time. This discovery not only sheds new light on human history, but also expands our understanding of how ancient human populations interacted, exchanged genes, and preserved distinct lineages over tens of thousands of years, painting a diverse and complex picture of our origins today. And perhaps to this day, the mysteries surrounding the Lepedo child continue to challenge scientists and fuel endless curiosity about our own evolutionary story. An 800-year-old tomb with a mysterious curse that terrifies thieves. Throughout the long history of China, there have been countless stories tinged with mysticism, sometimes regarded as legends, but often enough to send chills down one's spine. One of these is the curse surrounding an 800-year-old tomb located in the Julong, 9 Dragons Caves in Hunan province. Local residents believe that anyone who dares approach the site with the intention of theft will suffer a tragic fate. The story begins in the town of Moksu, Gujiang County, Hunan Province, home to an ancient village named Julong, inhabited by the Miao ethnic community. On the mountain sharing the same name, there exists a system of 9 caves, among which one cave holds a collection of mysterious coffins. No one knows exactly when these coffins first appeared or who their true owners were. It is only known that the coffins are made from hollow Nanmu wood, each weighing thousands of pounds, yet remarkably preserved for centuries. What makes this place even more enigmatic is not just the silent coffins embedded in the cliffside, but the eerie rumors surrounding them. According to oral traditions passed down through generations, anyone who sneaks into the cave intending to steal will meet a mysterious death. One of the most chilling tales tells of an ambitious tomb robber who crept into the cave hoping to loot treasure but found nothing. Just days after returning, he died under strange circumstances, terrifying the entire village. This story only strengthened the villagers' belief in the haunting curse of the ancient tomb. Such legends have made the locals extremely wary. They rarely dare to venture near the site. Even when collecting firewood in the mountains, they choose alternative paths to avoid the ominous area. In the 1980s, archaeologists began studying this mysterious tomb. They believe it to be the resting place of a revered Miao king who once ruled the region. The discovery of the cave has helped shed light on the obscure history of the Miao people and other ethnic groups who once lived in the area. Researchers also found that before the Miao settled here, this land was inhabited by the Galao tribe. When the two groups merged, they continued the custom of burying their dead in caves, a ritual that may date back to the Neolithic period. This excites archaeologists greatly, as it represents a living fossil of ancient burial customs in southwest China. Despite extensive research, one major question remains unanswered. How did the ancients manage to transport these enormous coffins up the steep cliffs? This mystery still baffles experts. However, with advances in technology and the relentless efforts of archaeologists, it is certain that in the future, the secrets of the Julong Cave tomb will gradually be unveiled, won't they? As you can see, ancient tombs discovered throughout history are far more than ordinary historical relics. They are mysterious, haunting stories that send chills down archaeologists' spines. Each tomb holds unsolved secrets, from supernatural phenomena and strange rituals to bizarre traces that modern science cannot explain. They don't just spark our curiosity, but also raise profound questions about the deep mysteries of human history, secrets that may never be fully uncovered. These tombs are like closed books, hiding stories about life, death, and spiritual beliefs of ancient civilizations. The powerful connection between history, legend, and science creates an irresistible fascination, making archaeologists approach their studies with great caution, sometimes mixing awe with fear. No matter how advanced we become, these tombs remind us that the past is filled with mysteries far beyond our imagination, waiting for the day they will be completely revealed. And you? What do you think about today's archaeological discoveries? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more exciting finds. For now, goodbye, and see you next time.